Hi everybody, I want to talk about auctions today, and one auction in particular, one that I've used in the local area, but they are all over the country. Some of it is large items like settees and wardrobes and beds and mattresses, and you need a van to collect these items. They can be delivered, but they charge you a lot of money to deliver them. So, secondly, they also do smaller items, smaller furniture, electrical goods, TVs, computers, cameras, and collector's items as well. We have many auctions in different locations. So what happens is you go on the website and there'll be listings and you look through them and you can bid on them. But the first thing you have to do when you join this John Pye auction platform, should we call it, is to register, and it's quite easy. Just fill in your address, delivery address, an invoice address, and a method of payment, and then you're away. What you need to know when you're bidding is that the price that you bid will not be the price that you pay. The price that you pay will include the buyer's premium or the auction house's premium, which is 22%. But before they put the 22% on, this is on the final bid, there's also VAT to add. And if it's an item that needs delivery, at the end of this process, they'll also add the delivery charge. Now, if you're collecting a large item and it's local, so that will for me be Chesterfield, probably Nottingham, and there's a place called Marchington. They're all within my reach if it's worthwhile. If you were to bid on a piece of furniture, like a really nice wardrobe, and they are really nice, we're not looking at second-hand stuff here, we're looking at designer items and top brands. We're not looking at IKEA or anything cheap like that. They're John Lewis and designer brands, really. And the seconds, there's usually like a minor blemish on it, a bit of varnish that's not come out right, or a scratch that you can easily repair. So you're gonna get a good piece of furniture or bed or whatever you're buying. The electrical goods, I've not had any problem with. They'll tell you if they're for repairing on the item. So back to the bidding. If you were to bid £100 on one item in the auction, you would pay, after both fees have been added, the VAT and then the buyer's premium, £150. And if that item was for delivery, if it was a large piece of furniture, they can charge you up to, for a wardrobe, say, I think it's about £90 for beds, 150, and other items even more than that, pallets and things like that. So you've got to be careful. So we've got the format. £100 equals 150. £10 equals £15. And when you're bidding, it's a very good idea to put your very highest bid in, the most that you want to pay for that item. And then if it goes for that, you're not going to, if it goes above that, you're not going to be disappointed. You know, if somebody's paid more than you wanted to pay. If you think you can dive into that auction at the last minute, put a bid on and win it because nobody else is looking, that may work. But in my experience, not very often. I think you're best putting your highest bid in, and then the auction or the software will only bid up to the next highest bid. So if you bid, say if you were to bid £100, that item was at £10. If somebody bid 15, it'd probably bring your bid up to £20, say. Or they bid a higher bid than your £100, and then they'll win it. And the idea is that you're not going to be disappointed because that was the most that you was willing to pay for that item. The next thing you need to know about auctions, if you do go into this last minute bidding thing, trying to nab it at the last minute, is if it gets down to 10 seconds or 20 seconds and you put a bid in for this item, then it adds another 3 minutes to the auction. So that gives the other person, if there is another person or another 2 people that's bidding against you, time to consider their bid. Or if you're bidding, you know, it gives you a chance to increase your bid if you've not done it the way that I've said, and put your highest bid in to start with. So either way, I think it can work. So the next thing I need to tell you about this auction bidding site is the delivery. Small items, there's a standard charge of £10. So if you were to bid for an item, we'll go back again to this, of £10, and then with the fees that increases to £15, and then there's a delivery charge of £10. That's £25. So you bid £10 for, say, a radio or, you know, something small, probably under 8 kilos or 10 kilos, they're going to charge you £10. And like I say, you bid £10, it's end up costing you £25. What they do is, and you've got to also be careful of this, because there's lots of auctions in different places. If it's in the same auction room, there's various auctions, and each auction has its own number, and there'll be 400 or 500 items in each auction. If you were to win 2 items from that auction, then they only charge you £2 for your second auction, for your second item. Then after that, 3 items, another £2, so that's £14 in delivery charges. So, for instance, you could get up to 5 items and it would cost you £18 in delivery, which is not bad. So the next thing we need to do in the next part of this video is we'll go through a few things that I've been able to purchase and what I think has been a good saving. But I think as a general principle, and you want to do better than this, if it's, say, a John Lewis item, a wardrobe that's listed at £799, £800 for argument's sake, and you're collecting that item, I wouldn't want to pay more than £400, because you've got no right of return. You know, you want to save that money, but you've got to go and collect it.